Rhett in this series.
Absolutely, you are correct. I think Rhett would have definitely been labeled as the favorite in this set, but Naama looked very, very solid in game number 1, managing to do just the right amount of economic damage and then transitioning nicely into some tank marine play that, in spite of some really nice Baneling connections, Rhett still wasn't able to clean those pushes up and ultimately lost him that game.
I mean, it was really weird to actually see how strong Naama is performing in this match. In fact, in almost all the games yesterday that were casted by Tastosis in the other room, Naama was cheesing nearly 100% of the time. So considering Rhett is so cheese-proof and so solid in the matchup, almost everyone was expecting him to take the win. Though he's not out yet, he clearly is going to have an uphill battle ahead of him in the right position. We're now to be one of the best ZVTers in the world. It is Liquid Rhett.
And over here in the 9 o'clock position, the blue Terran player up 1-0 against probably the fan favorite here. It is Naama. Now this is Metalopolis. We are cross spawn day 9, so I think Rhett's going to be very, very happy when he realizes exactly what's happening. What kind of openings do you think Naama should be using here to, I guess, to limit the pain of being cross-map against a Zerg?
I really think that any sort of Hellion-based opening is going to be strongest, especially if you emphasize the Hellions quite a bit. Generally, players will just get the 4 Hellions and be kind of half-assed about it, to be honest. They'll get the Hellions to sort of say, yeah, well, I feel like I have map control, so, you know, whatever. What we saw from Empire Cos yesterday was getting large numbers of blue flame Hellions, getting 6 to 10 regular red flame Hellions, and shutting down all Zerg's attempts to get a third base. With those Hellions, the distances feel a lot shorter, and Zerg suddenly can't really move out of their base until they have either a lot of speed Zerglings or the mutas. So you effectively delay the third by a lot.
Yeah, we saw Koss demonstrate that beautifully yesterday against Idra. It's not often you see Hellions kill hatcheries, but Koss basically did it twice in back-to-back games here. Naama this time, he does have, he's gone Barracks Gas once again, so it is possible we'll see some Hellion play. Rhett, on the other hand, has gone Hatch first, as he often does. This time 15 Hatch, 15 Pool. I'm going to anticipate something like a 17 Gas, and what he does beyond that, anybody's guess, day 9.
And there it is, the 17 gas, making sure he can get up that Zergling speed very swiftly. Naama with some very kind of funky placement.
Yeah.
Ordinarily, you would have that Barracks getting ready to build the reactor for the double Hellion, or maybe put it a little farther to the right to give an add-on over to a starport later. But looks like Naama wants to tuck it right far back into his main and just conceal everything that he wants to be up to. And I think we might just see another reactor drop down on that Barracks very soon here.
I think you are correct, sir. Naama is going to push out with this first Marine, see if he can maybe find an Overlord somewhere or chase down this drone. Second Marine will pop out, and will there be reactor? 44 gas, 48 gas, and bam. Reactor goes down as soon as there is 50 gas, so almost certainly we will see some reactor Hellions here. Rhett, in the meantime, pumping out double Queen. Hasn't started that Ling speed yet, but he hasn't mined 100 gas yet either. Third base timings are something that vary a lot in ZVT. It's not quite as arbitrary. Is that the right word? It's not quite as set in stone when to take a third as it is in the other Zerg matchups. When do you think Rhett should be working on getting this third base down?
I mean, to me, it largely depends on how Rhett is going to do his early defense. What we've seen Rhett do in maybe a month or two ago, especially when he was training at the Red Bull LAN, he was favoring a lot of the early third, sometimes even a fourth queen. There's the early third queen. We see him do a huge creep spread, and he essentially just defends with queens and some Zerglings against any large Hellion threat. We see Rhett kind of favoring his older school style of the super ultra mega fast Mutalisks, but I don't like that nearly as much as I like a player who's a little bit lighter on the gas early on.
Yeah, it does seem like the ZVT metagame is starting to phase out 2-base Muta, and it's just getting more into like 3 hatchery, something into Mutalisks eventually, sort of, as you said yesterday, Dongregu style.
Yeah, I do like that Dongregu early third hatchery. It just gives you a lot more options and flexibility, and especially it can push back a play like this. Naama is starting to just skirt around the front lines, make sure that there's nothing too scary to be worried about, and of course to push back the creep tumors.
Yep, really nice Hellion control here from Naama. He's taken a single poke on each of these Hellions from the Queens. Obviously hasn't killed anything just yet. Ooh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Naama taking a page out of the cost book saying, all right, I'm going to use the Hellions for map control, and then there's not really anything you can do to stop me from taking a fast third.
At the same time, though, if Rhett does commit to a good number of Zerglings,
that's awesome.
I mean, Hellions can't do that much.
Awesome, cute little micro tricks, targeting his own Hellions to kill that creep tumor. Rhett has scouted the fast. Basically, it's a double expand here from Naama. Wait, no, Rhett didn't scout that at all. The Ling did not run through the third like I thought it might have. But he does manage to pick off the command center, and will he get up into that third expand? He does not.
And I mean, we see Naama continuing to produce Hellions. This is the kind of play that we were talking about earlier. A lot of Hellions help shut down all that map space, but you have to be so careful as Naama. If for some reason Rhett gets this third base up, you can possibly be screwed.
Yep, but he's really checking for it. He's looking for that third Hellion. He's constantly darting up there to just check and see one Hellion does fall to a giant Spinecrawler headbutt. But really, I mean, Naama's got the map control, and he's going to have it until these Mutas pop out. Spire about a minute away.
To note, though, Rhett has one of the fastest Spire timings in all of SC2. This is going to catch Naama off guard by quite a bit. We actually don't even really see any anti-air preparations for Naama other than those few single Marines. And look at that nice little pick-off getting 2 drones at that extractor.
Yes, still no third base for Rhett. He's probably going to wait until he's got the first couple of Mutas out just to secure the map control. Ooh, more poking with these Hellions. One more drone falls down. And a lot of speedlings going to pop out here for Rhett. Naama needs to be very careful about his positioning.
Oh no, he got caught on creep versus speedlings, and now Naama not even pulling back to try to pick off that many Zerglings, trying to just run away and get somewhere safe and sound, rejoining with more of his Hellions. And we see Liquid Rhett still pushed quite a ways back, and his Spire is done now. And it is not a lot of Mutalisks that Rhett was trying to go for. Excuse me, it's not fast Mutalisks that Rhett's trying to go for. It is a lot of Mutalisks. I would not be surprised to see him stay somewhat passive with those early set of Mutas.
Yes, indeed. As we see those Mutas getting queued up, Rhett does send the drone down to take his third base. 6 Mutas plus 1 on the way. Baneling Nest going down as well. Mutas before Baneling Nest is interesting. It's Rhett saying, all right, I'm not too worried about any sort of Marine play.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting his Mutalisks so quickly that he just wants to rely on Mutaling to deal with nearly everything. And now Naama sees that the Mutalisks are out, and we do see the engineering bay has been plopped down, but we don't see really too many turrets being built back in the main. And looks like we have Rhett with just a few Mutalisks, just a smidge. Has to be very careful not to fly into those Marines.
Yeah, that was certainly a bit of a close call there. Hellions roasting a few Lings on the other side of the map. Rhett continuing to spread that creep. This is something that he does exceptionally well. And where is that Baneling Nest? Okay, Baneling speed starting immediately. Double Evo Chamber following that. Is Rhett going to try to transition into something that's not all about the Muta?
I mean, he may very well begin going for the Infestor Ling play that is becoming increasingly popular, but Rhett hasn't even considered that this third base could be up. And, I mean, Naama is going into big macro mode, and this is looking so similar to those Khas Idra games we saw yesterday.
Rhett just now scouts the third base with a Ling, and he's if he clicked on a mineral patch, he should be a little bit sad to see, oh wow, he's been mining for a while here. A lot more Lings going to be sent up to the third to try.
Oh, the Mutalist, he loses 1, but that's it. Rhett going to try for a counterattack, but the Hellions will be able to pick that off, but they are out of position, so Rhett starts to get some good kills off on those workers.
Yep, hasn't killed a worker yet, but one. Actually, no SCVs falling. Really nice control there by Naama, and immediately sends those workers right back to work. So Rhett not being as effective with these Zerglings as it looked like he was going to be. Third base is done for Rhett, but he doesn't have that many drones. Again, he's on 66 drones at a time in the game when I'm used to him having a few more.
Rhett is going upgrade crazy, getting all the +1/+1 for his Zerglings and the +2 for the Mutalisks. This bottom base is looking a little vulnerable, but of course this small force will be easily cleaned up by Mutaling.
Where's the stem? Rhett, or Naama, there's the stem, and he's just going to run away here. How he's going to come forward and try to support. Oh, Naama, he's going to lose some units here.
Oh, he's got to be careful. It looks like a very nice little defense there by Naama. Does manage to come out slightly at the upper hand in that engagement. And with the amount of Marines he is churning out, yeesh, that is a lot of barracks. And especially once he starts giving these tech labs to the factories and adding on even more reactors, Rhett is going to be in a really precarious spot.
Yeah, this double expand style that we're starting to see from Terran is a really, really good Day 9. I'm not entirely sure how Zerg's supposed to punish that.
It's so difficult. I mean, one of the easiest ways to respond is just to do something like what Stefano does. Get a lot of speed Zerglings early on, and then it hardly even matters how many Hellions you have.
Right, you're right. A couple Banelings. Oh, red.
A couple of Banelings getting morphed in the top right.
This is a bold move, Day9. Like, he could certainly do big damage. Look at this. Naama just going to accidentally scout it, going down there to put down a depot. Sees all these morphing Banelings. So smart from Naama. And so Rhett going to roll in here with the Banelings, and he's going to find not a whole lot. Oh, big counter on the bottom half of the map.
Push coming in. It looks like Rhett going to have to make some magic happen with these Banelings. May very well just roll into the natural expansion. He sees there's a whole army here, and there indeed goes all the Banelings rolling on in. Oh, the natural is in a lot of trouble. These SCVs.
SCVs are trying to spread out and run for their lives.
Oh, no! Chews through all of them in seconds, but at the same time, Rhett's running the risk of losing this expansion if we come to that worker loss tab. 37 workers have been eliminated by Rhett. The third base has been lifted. Rhett has a little bit of the advantage in terms of the work count. Oh, Naama. Banelings, very effective when units are that clumped together. And a couple drones really want to kill off these workers and realize it's time to head back in mine.
Yeah, it's going to make this game incredibly difficult for Naama to win. He does have 30 Marines out on the map, but he has a very, very small window to really make something happen. He has lost so much economy, down to 31 SCVs against 60 drones of Rhett. Rhett double expanding now to kind of bounce back here. Ling's countering up at the top of the map. Muta's attacking down at the bottom of the map. Where is Naama's Marines going to go? They're going to just attack Rhett.
Ooh, Naama's got to be real careful. He has no tanks. He doesn't really have any sort of foothold. And that's something that we saw in those COS games. COS seemed to completely neglect getting medevacs. We may very well be starting to see why. If you try to get those medevacs too quickly, suddenly Banelings become such an enormous threat. And this might be the key for Rhett to come back in this game and this series.
Yes, indeed. Production tab shows us that Rhett is just hammering out units right now. Lings and Mutas is all he really cares about. Naama trying to close, or I guess recuperate some of the worker losses he's taken. He's at only 29 SCVs. He is so far behind economically right now.
We're not even seeing Naama really dedicate to rebuilding those workers either. He seems to be focused more on Marines and upgrades, getting some sort of pressure applied to Zerg.
Yes, indeed. Muta's once again at the third base. They're actually going to force this command center to lift. Naama saying, you know what, I just can't defend this right now. I'm too spread out. These Marines are going to stem and run forward one more time, and that will, of course, force Rhett to back it off and get the heck out of there. 139 supply for our Zerg player, only 80 for Naama.
And if we do go to that army tab, we see that Naama is behind pretty much in every front. Sometimes he can be behind on workers, but the armies are at approximately equal sizes. Not in this spot. Naama hardly even has enough energy on the medevacs to get these units out of the red.
Yeah, these Marines have been so heavily stemmed. Medevacs are just staying at 0 energy. Naama, I mean, on the one hand, he needs to sit back and heal up his Marines before he goes and makes anything happen. But if he waits too long, he's just going to die anyway, because Rhett, as we can see, building 13 drones right now, is going to be immediately saturating his third and fourth bases and quickly approaching a point where he's going to be unkillable, is Liquid Rhett.
Looks like Naama now advancing up to these Xel'Naga watchtowers, setting them up, getting that vision to see if there's any opportunity he can have to push. Right now, Naama, he can't really drop. There's too many Mutalisks on the field, and he especially doesn't really have any tanks that he can use as sort of a stronghold ground point. The only way Naama's really going to be able to pull back in is if he does straight pushes at the front, but be careful with the overstimming. Look at how weak all these Marines are. Oh no, it looks like Rhett may identify this and just go in for a quick kill on this small group.
And he does focus down that medevac. Ling's coming up to support, and I think as soon as the stem wears off, Rhett might turn around. Naama, realizing his peril, turns those Marines around as well. Man, Rhett is about to max out, and Naama is nowhere close to having those kinds of numbers. 105 supply for our Terran player.
In the unit station, you see 52 Marines. Also in production, we see that the 1-1 upgrades are very nearly done. I do not think a drop by Naama would be a wise idea at all. We see Mutalisk now streaming in the front. Whoa, that is a lot of turrets, and Rhett happily chews through them one at a time, and now the backside of Naama is completely undefended.
Gotta hate that, man. Thors and Marines will chase off the Mutas, but not before he takes a few more losses.
Rhett! Oh!
Oh. Thor doesn't actually kill anything there, but that was a scary, scary moment for Rhett and Rhett fans everywhere.
Oh my gosh, but this is really dangerous. These Mutalisks are extremely low on health. Rhett does have a tendency to get a little bit overly relaxed in those late stages of the game. Just think, yeah, I can easily overrun it, but look at this. Naama with a strong drop in the main base. Rhett not engaging it with all his Mutalisks together. He will lose 1, 2, 3, 4 Mutalisks to that small drop.
Yeah. Another drop happened down here at 6 o'clock, but Rhett cleaned that one up easily with lots and lots of Zerglings. You see the medevac falling there to the Queen. Naama, you know, he's not. He wants to battle it back. He wants to bring this back. It's going to be so hard. The Rhett's numbers are just they're mushrooming through the roof. 27 Mutalisks.
Oh, be careful!
God,
Another Thor shot. I mean, the Thor with that level 1 upgrade. Uh-oh, there comes all the Banelings starting to advance forward. Another nice Thor shot, but they are being magic boxed very well. And Max Ling Baneling versus a couple of Marines.
There it
not
is.
going to be enough. Liquid Rhett showing true form in that match.